Great. I would add on to what Chris was saying about, going from 10 owners to thousands of owners to millions of owners to a billion owners. I think there's finally an answer for how can communities participate in Web3 and crypto. Before this, when people would ask, like, how do I participate in crypto? There was an answer for individuals, which is, hey, you can bet on sound money, digital gold, that's Bitcoin. And then if you were a company, you could say, hey, you can build something on top of Ethereum. You can build decentralized finance. You can build applications on this computer, this Turing complete blockchain computer that's running on the blockchain. And now, for the first time, a community can show up and you can have an answer for the community. You can say, okay, if you have a passionate group of believers, you can spread ownership amongst them. You can spread governance amongst them. You can build a DAO. You can issue NFTs. You can have an online gaming community. You can have a conversational community. You can have a real world community that maps to each other with NFTs. You can even have digital bake sales. Who knows? It's innovating like crazy. But for the first time, we're seeing DAOs, which are these distributed autonomous organizations, take off in Web3. And DAOs are sort of these, they're not quite corporations, they're not quite communities, they're not quite networks or platforms. They're like their own new thing that are a mixture of all of the above. And I think a couple of years from now, we're going to see a lot of thriving communities on the internet that are now linked together economically, intrinsically, and are doing not just making money, but also governance. Like, who gets to make which decision, who gets credit for the decision, who gets to join the company, who gets to leave the company, who gets to join the community, who gets to leave the community. NFTs are so many things. It's almost, I love the Chris webpage analogy. I want to give you full credit for that. I hadn't heard that until now. So sorry, I haven't been listening to you on other podcasts. But I love it because web pages are so programmable. It can be anything. The same with NFT is so programmable. So it's kind of almost silly to sit around talking about what you can do with NFTs. You can do anything with NFTs that you can do with a web page. But on top of it, you can have scarcity and ownership and allocation and rights associated with it. This is really big.